Miriam. How are you today?
We're well, thank you.
I heard that you attended one of our English language classes that we held at our community centre recently.
We did, and we spoke with Jess, and she recommended that we come and meet with yourself at Karma Community Services.
Yes, that's correct. Did she tell you much about community services?
No, not a lot, but she said that you'd be able to help us.
Yes, okay. So my name's Lauren. I'm a support worker with Karma Community Services, and Karma Community Services is an agency that what we do is we do an intake and assessment where we ask you a bunch of questions. We get your consent to pass on any information, and we're able to refer you to other agencies in order to get you help to meet your needs. Does that sound like something that you'd be interested in?
Definitely.
Okay, fantastic. I do have some questions that I have to go through for both you and Miriam. So we might start there if that's okay. There's pretty easy questions. I'll start with you first, Jacob. So what is your full
Jacob Whitman,
name? Fantastic. And what's your date of birth, Jacob?
6th of the 1st, 1989.
Okay. And what is your gender?
I am male.
Okay. Hang on 1 second. I'm just scrolling down on my computer, which is a little bit slow. What's your address?
I live at 14 Lily Street in Arla.
Okay, fantastic. Do you have a nominated support person? By that means, do you have someone in your family, friends, or community that you wish to identify as a support person who could, for example, help you out when you're dealing with either Karma support services or any other agencies that we refer you to?
No, it's just my wife and our 2 kids. We came here alone.
No, that's okay. You don't need to have a support person. What country were you born
in Sudan.
Okay, and what is the main language you speak at home?
Arabic.
Okay. This question might seem a little bit silly, but I do have to ask it. Do you identify as Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander?
No.
Okay. Do you have any of the following impairments or disabilities? Hang on 1 second, my computer's just gone down. Do you have an intellectual or learning disability?
No.
Do you have any psychiatric or mental health diagnoses?
No.
Do you have any sensory or speech problems?
No.
Do you have any physical or diverse disabilities at all?
No.
Okay, so would it be most accurate to say that you have no physical, no impairments, conditions, or disabilities that affect you?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. I probably should have asked this first. Do you have any of the following communication needs? So, do you need assistance with reading or writing?
I don't, but my wife does.
Okay, fantastic. I will ask again when we're doing Miriam's assessment, and I'll put that down for her. And would you find it helpful to use an interpreter or translating service?
Not for myself.
Okay. Are you homeless or at risk of being homeless? This might include tenancy issues, such as notice to remedy breaches or a notice to leave if you're renting.
Not at this time, but we are running out of savings, so we may in the future.
Okay, all right. I'll put you down as at risk just because it may become an issue in the future, just so that we're aware of your needs. How would you describe the makeup of your household? So we have quite a few options here. Single person living alone, sole parent with dependents, a couple with dependents, a group of related adults, a group of unrelated adults, or homeless / no households.
A couple with dependents.
All right, fantastic. And were you referred to us by another organisation, service, or program?
Yes, by the English class.
Yeah, by Jess?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. I'll put that down. So I have a list of possible reasons that you could be seeking out, because you said that you did need you were seeking assistance from Karma Community support services. So I just have a list of reasons. I'll go through them, and if you could just tell me which ones best meet up with like what you're looking for help with. So the first one is physical health. The second is mental health, well-being, and self-care. The third is personal and family safety. The fourth is age-appropriate development. For example, you need support with your child's development. The next is community participation and networks. For example, you may be feeling socially isolated, need community and family support, or want to engage with the community more. The next one is family functioning. For example, there may be conflict in the family or a lack of support and positive family relationships. The next is financial resilience. For example, difficulty finding money for emergencies, or you may be struggling to make ends meet. The next is employment. The one after that is education and skills training. Um, the next one is material well-being and basic necessities. For example, limited access to basic material resources like food, clothes, and transport. And the last one is housing. So I know I just gave you a big list, but out of those things that I mentioned, what best meets up with what you were looking for help with?
There are three things.
Yeah.
Firstly, employment.
Yeah.
I have no skills that are recognised over here, and I don't know how to go about finding work. I've not been able to so far. The second is we need to find community again. Being here has been very isolating, and we don't have people around us that share our beliefs and understand what we've been through. And lastly, I'm concerned about the education of our children, as neither of them speak English, and Miriam does not speak English well at this time, so they are not getting any uh, practice with English at home, and I'm concerned about how this will affect their education as they become school age.
Yeah, no, those are all very valid concerns. So you mentioned physical health. Have you been to see a GP since you've come to Australia?
We have not. My wife has been unwell, but we don't have any money to see a doctor right now.
Okay, in Australia we've got it's called the Medicare system. Do you know much about that? Okay, so it's called universal free healthcare, which basically means that if you have a Medicare card, you get either free or heavily discounted visits to see a GP. Have you applied for a Medicare card?
No.
Okay. Do you have a MyGov account?
Not at this time.
That's okay. Do you have an email address?
Yes.
Okay, what's your email address? I will send you through the information so you can set up a MyGov account. And once you've set up a MyGov account, you'll be able to apply for a Medicare card. They take about 3 to 4 weeks to come through, but once you've got that, you will be able to see a GP and use the Medicare rebate to see them either free or at a discounted rate. So, what was your email address?
jacobw@gmail.com.
All right, fantastic. Just give me a moment and I will send that information through to you. All right, fantastic. That should be in your inbox when you get home, waiting for you. I'm just going to read you a privacy notification, just because we need to get your, it's called informed consent, just so that when sorry, before we do that, I'll go on to the other things that you spoke about. So you said you were worried about the age appropriate development for your children. So have you accessed, for example, any like play groups that are in the area?
No.
Okay, so at Karma Community Services, we do actually run several groups for young children just to help them socialise and connect families in the community. So I can give you the information relating to that if that's something that you'd be interested in. We do run those several times a week and they're free, so it won't cost you anything. So I will send like in the email that I'll send you another email just with that information in it. And as far as employment, are you working at the moment?
No, I'm not. I haven't been able to find work.
Okay, what's your background like? What did you work work? Sorry, I'll ask you another question. You said you were born in Sudan, so how are you from Sudan originally?
Yes, yes.
Yes, and how long have you been in Australia?
Not long, only 3 months.
3 months? Okay. So since you've come to Australia, you haven't worked, and what was your occupation when you were in Sudan?
I did mostly labouring.
Mostly labouring. Okay, no, that's fine. We do have programs that are run by Karma Community Services that are aimed at helping people get into the job market. Would you be interested in continuing to work as a labourer or trying something a little bit different? Like what were you thinking of doing going forward?
I think I will need to do more than labouring here to support my family, so I would be interested in perhaps getting into IT.
Yeah, fantastic. All right. Um, when I send you the information about the play groups that we run, I will also send you some information about the programs we run, and I will send through a referral as well to the programs, so that the people that run them are aware, like that you're interested, obviously, and that you're also specifically interested in IT. So hopefully we can get you set up with something like that in order to help you, gain employment in the near future. As far as how you've been supporting yourself, have you accessed Centrelink or how are you making ends meet at the moment?
We are trying to get by on what little savings we brought with us.
Okay. You would be eligible for Centrelink payments. Um, there is a Centrelink office in the suburb. If you like, I could call Centrelink for you and set up a meeting, just so you could meet with a social worker and talk through, what payments that you're eligible for, just until you get work that might help you, stay on your feet kind of thing. So you're not just relying on savings and you're not, constantly stressing about money. Would that be something that you would be interested in?
Yes.
All right, fantastic. Um, just let me have a look. Um, you said that you were interested in doing, like getting more involved in the community. Are you religious at all?
Yes, my wife and I are both Muslim.
Okay. Have you engaged at all with the Muslim community in the suburb?
We don't know where to look or where
That's
to start.
okay. There is a mosque in the area. I can send you the details and I can also get in touch with the person that does the preaching at the mosque. Um, so I can let them know about you and that you've come from Sudan fairly recently, just so that you can, get to know people that, you have a common religious background with, get to know some people in the community. I'm sure that, your religion and cultural background, for example, is something that is important to you and would make you feel, more at home in Australia, especially since you haven't been here for very long. Is that something that you would like me to do?
Yes, please.
All right, fantastic. This is probably a silly question, but I just wanted to check what was your sexuality?
Straight.
Yes, I assumed so, but I just wanted to make sure. Um, Sorry, I'm just having a look to make sure I'm asking you all the questions to make sure that we're doing everything we can to get you all of the help and support that we possibly can. Um, as far as your two little ones go, you're both quite young parents. Do you find it difficult in Australia with, you said it was just yourself and your wife with no family support?
Yes, it all falls to my wife to take care of everything, and especially when we are so new to the country, it can be very challenging.
We do run a group for young parents. events. Would that be something that you or your wife would be interested in attending? Um, it just offers a bit of extra support because I know that when you're a young parent, especially someone that's just immigrated to Australia from another country and you're already facing additional challenges, it can just help give you a little bit of extra support and make things easier. So would that be something that you would be interested in accessing?
Yes.
All right, fantastic. I will email you. I know you're getting a very long email from me, but I will email you that information. And again, I will contact the Young Parenting Program and let them know that you are interested so that you will be hearing from them fairly soon. Um, from Sudan, do you find it difficult to have you found it difficult to settle into Australia? Because I imagine that culturally Australia and Sudan are quite different.
In some ways, yes. In other ways, no. There is a lot of violence and government corruption where we come from. So uh, it has been easier in some ways.
Yeah. As far as the violence and government corruption like that you have been through in the past, is that something that you feel that you would benefit from, for example, counselling for, or
Certainly for my eldest Anya, who is 6, she would remember much of the violence, whereas Angelica, who is only 3, would not. And I worry that the violence may have impacted her.
okay. I suggest that when you get your Medicare card, you speak to your GP about that because we are I'm not 100% sure how it works for children, but I know for adults you can do a mental health care plan, which is when you get 10 free or subsidized sessions with a psychologist. Again, I'm not 100% sure if that is available for children, but I'm sure that there is some form of support service that is available. And if there's not, Karma Support Service does have a list of psychologists that charge very affordable rates. So that may be something that we can refer you on to either now or when you're working if it's not something that you can afford at this time, just so that we can get Anya the help that she needs. Um, let me have a quick look. Okay, so I wanted to give you a privacy notification. I started talking about it before and then stopped, so I'm sorry if that was confusing. So what we need to do it's called informed consent, and it basically means that we're getting consent from you in order to pass your information on, the information I've collected in this form regarding, your name, your date of birth, your address, etc., to the organisations that I've spoken to, for example, the Young Parenting Program, the employment services, just so that they have as much information about you as possible, so that they can help you and you don't have to give the information again. I'll just read you the privacy notification. So it says the information you provide on this form includes your personal information. Your personal information is protected by law, including by the Commonwealth Privacy Act. We are using an IT system called the case file to store your information. You do not have to consent to sharing your personal information with us. If you do not consent to us sharing your personal information, it will not affect the services you receive. If you do not consent to sharing your personal information with us, you can ask for this information to be removed at any time. Karma Community Services combine your de-identified data with other people's data in the case file to identify trends at the program level. That just basically means if, for example, a lot of people were needing help with employment services, we'd be able to identify that. So we'd be able to ask for more funding, for example, to help with employment. This information is used to develop policy, administer grants programs, and conduct research and evaluation. Karma Community Services may use this data to produce reports. These reports may be shared with other organisations. organizations, the data in these reports is de-identified. You can find more information about how Karma Community Service will manage your personal information in the Karma Community Services privacy policy. I'm happy to send that to you if you would like to have a copy of that. This policy explains how to access the personal information that is stored about you on the case file system, how you can ask for this information to be changed or removed, and you can do that at any time, and how to complain about a breach of the Australian privacy principles by Karma Support Services, and how Karma Support Services will deal with your complaint. For more information about the case file system, please speak to your practitioner or service provider. Do you consent for your personal information to be stored in the case file?
Yes.
All right, fantastic. And do you consent to participate in follow-up research, surveys, or evaluation? That just means that, after you've, for example, done one of our employment programs, we may give you a survey to ask how effective it was, if it helped you find employment, that kind of thing. So do you consent to participating in that kind of thing? Yes. All right, fantastic. I do have to do the form that we just did with your wife, Miriam. So just give me a moment while I go to the top. All right. Miriam, what was your full name?
As I said, Miriam does not speak English well, so I will be speaking on her behalf.
Okay, that's fine.
Sorry, what was the question?
Sorry, the question was, what is Miriam's full name?
Her full name is Miriam Whitman.
Yeah, and what is Miriam's date of birth?
1993.
Yeah, and what is her gender?
She's female.
Yeah, and what's Miriam's address?
She also lives at 14 Lily Street, Anala.
Okay, and does Miriam have a nominated support person?
No.
Okay. What country was Miriam born in?
Also Sudan.
Okay, and what is the main language you speak at home?
Arabic.
Okay, again, I know this question's silly, but I have to ask it. Do you identify does Miriam, identify as Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander?
She does not.
Okay. Does Miriam have any of the following impairments or conditions? Does she have a physical or diverse disability?
No.
Does she have any sensory or speech disabilities?
No.
Does she have any psychiatric or mental health diagnoses?
No.
And does she have any intellectual or learning disabilities?
No.
Okay. Does Miriam have any of the following communication needs? Does she need assistance reading or writing?
Yes.
All right, fantastic. I will put that down. And does she also need an interpreter or translating services?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. I will put that down so that if we are seeing Miriam without you, we can make sure that we can communicate with her effectively. Is Miriam homeless or at risk of being homeless?
No, as I said, not at this time.
All right, I'll pop you down as at risk, simply because, we want to be aware that, because, you did say you were living on your savings, that is something we're going to address with the employment programs. How would you describe the makeup of Miriam's household? So single, person living alone, sole parent with dependents, a couple with dependents, a group of related adults, group of unrelated adults, or homeless/no households.
Couple with dependents.
Yeah. Were you referred to us by another organisation, service, or program?
Yes, just from the English classes we took.
All right, fantastic. And from the following list, what were the reasons that you were seeking help from Karma Support Services? So the first is physical health, the second is mental health, wellbeing and self-care, the third is personal and family safety, the fourth is age-appropriate development, for example, needing support with child's development. The next is community participation and networks, for example, socially isolated, need community family support and want to engage with the community more. The next is family functioning, for example, family conflict, lack of support and positive family relationships. The next is financial resilience, for example, difficulty finding money for emergencies, struggling to make ends meet. The next is employment. The next is education and skills training. The next is material well-being and basic necessities, for example, limited access to basic material resources like food, clothes, and transport. And the last is housing. So, what would be the best description of why Miriam would be seeking help from Karma Community Services?
Similar to mine, definitely physical health, which we've discussed.
Yep.
Community, as you know, if once I am working, she'll be on her own.
Yep.
Also, you mentioned transport. She doesn't currently drive, so accessing, you know, supermarkets or health services or
Yep.
whatever. And she too is concerned about the development of our children as she is unable to help with teaching them English at this time.
Okay, fantastic. Will Miriam be working at all?
No, she will be taking care of our children.
Okay, fantastic. As I said to you, we can refer you to the playgroups for the children. As far as transport goes, we do have a really good public transportation system. Um, I can I can go through the like routes from your house to get to the particular places where Miriam would want to go. Just until is it a car something that you're like aiming to buy in the near future?
Yes, once I have employment. However, my wife does not have a driver's license.
Okay, so she'd be relying on public
Yes.
transport. No, that's fine. We can work out the best ways for her to get to the places she needs to go on public transport. I'm happy to sit down and go through that with you, just so we can make it as easy as possible for Miriam. And again, the young parenting group would probably be a really good support for her, especially if she's going to be a stay-at-home mum. So I will definitely make sure that referral gets sent through. I just need to read the privacy notification again because I need to get Miriam's consent in order to provide her information to the services such as the Young Parenting Program. So I know it's a bit long, but just bear with me while I read through it. So the information you provide on this form includes your personal information. Your personal information is protected by law, including by the Commonwealth Privacy Act. We're using an IT system called the case file to store your information. You do not have to consent to sharing your personal information with us. If you do not consent to us sharing your personal information, it will not affect the services you receive. If you do not consent to sharing your personal information with us, you can ask for this information to be removed at any time. Karma Community Services combine your de-identified data with other people's data in the case file to identify trends at the program level. This information is used to develop policy, administer grants, programs, and conduct research and evaluations. Karma Community Services may use this data to produce reports. These reports may be shared with other organisations. Data in these reports is de-identified. You can find more information about how Karma Community Services will manage your information in the Karma Community Services Privacy Policy. This policy explains how to access the personal information that is stored about you on the case file system, how you can ask for this information to be changed or removed, how to complain about a breach of the Australian privacy principles by Karma Community Services, and how Karma Community Services will deal with your complaint. For more information about the case file system, please speak to your practitioner or service provider. Does Miriam consent for her personal information to be stored in the case file?
Yes, she does.
All right, fantastic. And does she consent to participate in follow-up research, surveys, or evaluation?
Yes.
All right, fantastic. Just a question. I was speaking to Jess, and she mentioned that you came over to Australia as refugees because of the situation in Sudan. Have you? I know that oftentimes when people migrate to Australia, they can face additional challenges, such as, for example, you seem to already be facing some financial hardship and, you know, difficulty finding work, which are things that we're going to try and help you with. But have you faced any discrimination or anything like that?
Definitely discrimination. There many people who do not understand our religious beliefs.
Yeah.
Uh, and I do think that this has impacted my ability to find work so far.
I'm really sorry to hear that. There is a group for refugees. It's a support group. I've already suggested several support group type things, but is that something that you'd be interested in? Simply because even though the people in the support group may be from different backgrounds, they would have the shared experience of being forced to migrate to Australia and perhaps facing the same challenges that you're facing with, the financial hardship, facing discrimination, difficulty finding work, that kind of thing. And it might help you to meet with other people that are going through similar things in order to talk with them. Would that be something that you would be interested in?
Yes.
All right, fantastic. All right, well, I've gone through everything with you that I need to for today. So thank you very much, both of you, for coming in and your lovely children. I did want to make a time to follow up with you just to make sure that all the referrals that we've sent through have gone through and get started in the employment program and with the young parents in the playgroup and just see how everything's going. I was thinking probably in about 2 weeks. Do you have a time or a day that's best for you?
Uh, in the afternoon,
Yep. Is any particular day?
Wednesdays would be good.
Okay. How's Wednesday at 2:30 on the when's 2 weeks? The 3rd of November.
Perfect.
All right, fantastic. I will book that in for you. I'm just come to the same place. Ask me, as I said, my name is Lauren, and we'll just go through, check in, see how everything's going. If there's anything else that you think of that you need support with, you'll have my email address because, as I said, I'm sending you an email just with information about all of the different programs and support groups that I'm referring you to. So if you need anything in the meet, like before our meeting, don't hesitate to reach out because I will be able to assist you. But if there's anything that you want to discuss at the meeting, by all means, you can wait till then. Is there anything else I could help with you all today?
No, that is everything.
All right. Well, thank you for your time,